Hello, this is Soundout here, back with another Kamen Rider Gaim review. Ah, it's nice to say that again. Today we'll be taking a look at the Kamen Rider Gaim Arms Change Series 11, Kamen Rider Gaim Kachidoki Arms. Alright, so here we are with everything you get with Kachidoki Arms. Before we begin, as always, we have the packaging to look at. Now, the packaging is a slightly larger box, akin to the Legend Rider Arms. But, you know, you got your standard layout, figure, the pre-arm state, the weapons, the arms are all contained, with that half picture that I love. On the side here, you can see that you have a picture of Gaim's Kachidoki Arms, and there it is again. There's the transformation, the highly abridged transformation, the helmet up there, the suit down here. And on the back, you can see Kachidoki Arms with 18 points of articulation, plus the other two Gaims and their arms change stuff. So that's fun. Anyways, that just vanished behind my bed. Alright, moving along. Here is Kachidoki Arms. Now, of course, as always, we begin with the pre-arms state, so let's move the arms away. Now, I really don't want to spend too much time on this, but it is notable, as it is different than the original Gaim, and, of course, Jinba Gaim, who's just going to chill out here for reference. Alright, so let's take a close look at the new details. First off, the belt, the Sengoku driver, no longer has a lock seat holder, no longer has a Muso Saber holster, so nothing's really retained, because by this point the Kyoto doesn't need to carry around lock seats, because once you go Kachidoki Arms you don't need to go any further. As you can see, the Kachidoki lock seat is clearly defined there, which is alright. I'll go with it. The new head here is quite interesting. We'll get to that in a second. There are new arms, or lower arms are new. They got these extra orange armor, and the hands are part black and part blue. Fun. Anyways, looking at the helmets, you can see he's got this new mustache look, plus these frilly things on his head. Maybe he's got added horns on top of the main crest, and an added shogun-type mustache. It looks like very much old samurai armor. So that's really cool, as it adds to the samurai design. But overall, not too many differences from the base Gaim body, namely just the belt, the arms, and the head. But more than Jinba Gaim over here. So moving these two away for now, we'll take a look at the Kachidoki Arms. Now, with the Kachidoki Arms, it was a regular earth orange that was turned into a lock seat, and it is an upgraded orange arms, which you can see it's a bigger orange that has flags on it. So that's cool. Now, this is the most complicated arms so far. I thought Jinba Arms was the most complicated, but by far this thing is super complicated, because it doesn't just cover his chest, it covers his legs too. Also included are the DJ Ju, or the DJ Gun. The official Japanese name and pronunciation is DJ Ju. DJ Gun is the typical romanization of the name, but either or, I kind of go by DJ Gun, just easier, and it's a cool name because it's a gun and it's got this turntable on it that makes it a DJ. You also get it opened up for its big sword mode, and you get an additional Muso Saber that has 0 paint on it, because once you slide this in, paint is irrelevant, and now you have the big sword mode. So that's really, really cool. But yeah, we'll get to using those with Kachidoki Arms. Now, for the first time ever, we actually have prep work on the arms before we begin the arms change transformation. Now, of course, there is nowhere for his head to go in this thing, so we need to do a couple things. First off, you need to untab these upper parts here away from the rest of the arms. You also need to fold this piece back, and then fold these flags back. You want to untab from this back plate here these little tabs like that. and then you want to just kind of unfold everything about halfway like this. Slide it onto his head and shoulders with the helmet piece going into place, and yes, things will pop off. Now, it's on him. Let's get the rest of it going. You want to untab these side pieces, which everything pops off in this thing. Bring forward the tabs, split the leg armor, bring it down and around his belt. Try not to pop the armor off. These shoulder pieces, you want to have little handle-like pieces to the top of the shoulder pads, like this. And then you also want to bring them down, like that. And finally, the backpack just kind of slides down and clicks into place. Position the flags, and there we have Kachidoki Arms. Iza, Ichujin, oh! Which is by far my favorite transformation call so far of all the arms. But there you go, Mr. Kachidoki Arms Gaim. By far, this is the biggest arms change, Suica Arms excluded because that's more of a vehicle. But instead of being a simple transformation like most of them have been, where you slide his head on here, and then you just kind of fold a chest plate and a shoulder pad, which pops off because I'm doing this wrong. Wow, that won't even go back on now. Okay, come on, go. There we go. And a shoulder pad and a back plate, and then you get an armor. But man, is that an upgrade! Because you get leg armor, you get more shoulder armor, you get back piece that does something. It's really cool how innovative Kachidoki Arms is compared to the rest of the line. And that's because of its great design from the series. Now, that being said, this does come with a few flaws. I'm going to get them right out of the way. His leg articulation is that. They can go back, they can go forward a bit, but you need to move both legs to have that happen. But outward leg movement is pretty much non-existent. The farthest I can get it to go is here. And that's with that all the way out. So you can try, but he will not be riding any locked vehicles, just saying. No Sakura Hurricane for him. But that being said, Kachidoki is the you put it on and kill everything form, so why would you really need to ride a bike? Now that being said, he's got these cool flags on the back. His logo is straight in the middle, which makes it switching arms up kind of difficult, unless you're just trying to be fun and imaginative. But I like how the armor does continue down to the legs. It is a nice change of pace from all the other arms, which are just a slap on the head and fold out. Well, this is a fold out, slap on head, fold out even further. He does get a new helmet piece, but does have the same insert of the orange slice. And on top of that, he has all this great painted detail with the red accents that match the arms. This really feels like you can arms change it around, but it just feels kind of wrong because, well, to be honest, it matches this Gaim body so well. It does feel kind of weird putting it on other characters, but we're not going to not do an arms change montage. Now that being said, he does come with multiple weapons, which he does have articulation. Let me get this over with. Ball joint neck. The shoulders are kind of restricted. Their outward arm movement isn't restricted at all. The 360 rotation, elbow bend, wrist swivel, finger grasping articulation. Waist is there, but it ruins the effect of the look. We already discussed the legs. Knees still bend, thighs rotate, the ball joint pivot, all that is there. But it is highly restrictive. Now you can't give him the DJ gun, DJ Ju, trying to please all audiences right there with that name. And he can hold it, but you need to have his fingers kind of not together, kind of splitting it up, which can be super difficult. This thing is heavy towards the front, and getting him to grasp it is quite difficult, and I would highly recommend not doing it. When you're playing around with the figure, I would recommend not using the gun, as it does slip out of his hands very easily. Now, that being said, the sword mode is a lot better once you slide that in place. You can't give him the giant sword, or the whatever it's called. I'm calling it giant orange sword to death, which he does hold a lot better because the Muso saber handle is more designed for arms change compatibility, being a straight on instead of this awkward angle that the GJ gun Ju is going for. So there's that. Big sword mode works quite well. But lastly, we have the coolest weapon, and that is the flags. Now the flags do come off. They are slightly smaller in proportion than they are in the series, and they look kind of like meat cleavers this way, but they do plug in with those holes, and you can get them to hold them. Holding the upper part of the flag is impossible with these hands. You're going to want to go SH figure arts if you want that. But he can hold the flags, and he can dance with them if he wants, or just cut up Inves with them, or whatever he wants to do. Take out a few Kurokabe troopers, whatever. But yeah, there you go. He can wield the flags, and I think wielding the flags is the easiest part out of all the weapons that he can use in this form, because he does have quite a few. Now that being said, how is Kachidoki Arms as an overall figure? Overall, he's a great figure, looks-wise. When you go to try to pose him, he does start to fall apart, literally, as you will knock panels off trying to move his legs. And the limited leg articulation was expected, but still kind of disappointing that there aren't more ways of getting his legs to move farther out. But that being said, there's not much you can do when you're trying to be faithful to the design. But that being said, it's still a great figure, and I would highly recommend it, though it does have a few limitations compared to the other arms change. And it also includes its highly complicated transformation, which is why this next bit is going to be really difficult for me. Alright, now the moment you've all been waiting for, the arms change montage. Just as a warning, this is going to be the longest arms change montage to date. I'll be saying that from every future video as I add another figure, at least one more arms, every time I review one of these things. Now, that being said, every armor is going on Kachidoki Arms pre-arm state because it is very unique, and Kachidoki Arms is going on all the pre-arm states of all the other previous riders. In addition to that, I will continue to show all four forms of the Jinba arms, so without further ado, let's begin. Suya, Orange Arms. Suya, Banana Arms. Suya, Budo Arms. Suya, Melon Arms. Suya, Mango Arms. Suya, Kiwi Arms. Suya, Dongre Arms. Suya, Melon Energy Arms. Suya, Matsubokuri Arms. Suya, Mix, Jinba Lemon. Jinba Melon. Jinba Cherry. Jinba Peach. Ho ho. Suya, Double Arms. Suya, Ozu Arms. Suya, Fourze Arms. Suya, Wizard Arms. Suya, Kachidoki Arms. Come on, Kachidoki Arms. Hai, Kachidoki Arms. Suya, Kachidoki Arms. Come on, Kachidoki Arms. Soda, Kachidoki Arms. Suya, Kachidoki Arms. Suya, Kachidoki Arms. Well, my throat hurts from that. That was Kachidoki Arms, arms change montage. And here we are, sitting at numbered release 11, the 12th overall when you include the EX set with the Legend Rider arms. And you see before you 11 of the 12 arms change releases. I still don't own the Pine and Ichigo arms set. If anyone out there is selling one or knows where I can find one for a decent price, let me know, please. And I gotta say that I am super impressed with this line. Look how much we've already gotten. And it's really only, this is the majority of the line. We still have 2 retail releases and a whole line of premium Bandai releases. I'll be reviewing arms change figures possibly into next year. But with that being said, in May we are getting AC12 Duke being released at retail, and ACPB01 Kamen Rider Gaim Blood Orange Arms will be shipped out to those who pre-ordered him, and so I shall be receiving mine towards the end of May. And then from there we have AC13 Kamen Rider Gaim Kiwami Arms in June, ACPB02 Kamen Rider Bravo Durian Arms in July, ACPB03 Kamen Rider Sigurd Cherry Energy Arms and Kamen Rider Mari Kapishi Energy Arms in September, and sometime this year, ACPB04 Kamen Rider Knuckle Kurumi Arms. In addition to the Lock Vehicles and Suika Arms, this is the most extensive budget line of Kamen Rider action figures that has been released since the Shochaku Henshin series. And if by the end of this we can get every rider from Gaim and every arms from Gaim, including the movies, I will say this is the best Kamen Rider budget line of all time. Now, come on, Bandai, make Kamen Rider 15 with Ichigo, Decade, and Gaim arms happen, and whatever the summer movie rider will be. Make those happen. Kurokage Trooper version would be awesome, too. And a Kamen Rider Baron Lemon Energy arms while you're at it. But I'm already impressed with this line, and it's still not done yet. So stay tuned over the next year, where we review all the Kamen Rider Gaim arms change releases, as I will be buying all of them, and hopefully I can find a Piney Ichigo arms soon. So anyways, make sure to check out Hirotaku.com for all your Kamen Rider Gaim news and more, where I personally post updates on the arms change line. And check out the Hirotaku.com forums to discuss Kamen Rider Gaim, listen to Kamen Rider Gaim music at Radio Nihon, and until next time, goodbye.